talk Villa. And unless you've been living under a rock, you would have heard of a certain man called Nico Williams, the younger brother of Inaki, currently at Atletico Bilbao. Barcelona have been rumoured to be interested in him, but find themselves in a bit of a financial sticky situation, shall we say. And with Villa losing Moussa Diaby to the likes of Al Ittihad in Saudi Arabia, there have been some reports that Villa are going to sneakily tiptoe their way in and hijack Barcelona's deal for Williams, instead bringing him to Villa Park to play under Unai Emery. We're going to be having a look at Nico Williams as a player, not that you should need to be introduced to this phenom, and then where he fits in to our team if he does sign for us. And I think it could be one of the signings of the season, but let's find out a little bit more about him. Before we do that, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, turn notifications on so that you do not miss a thing. Let's talk Nico Williams. And here we have his stats. 22 years of age, just won the Euros with Spain, scoring a goal in the final against England. Primarily plays as a left winger. He is right-footed, can also play on the right. However, I think that him being a left mid and how Villa lined up in our pre-season friendly against Walsall might give an indication that a left winger is just what we need. If we scroll down here, his Euro stats, of course, 2 goals and an assist in 6 games. I also covered him in my top 10 breakout stars of Euro 2024. Be sure to go and check that video out. We're going to not skip through his Euro stats, but I want to focus on his La Liga stats. Of course, playing tournament football is one thing, but being consistent over a 38-game season against the very, very best that Europe has to offer is a separate story. Obviously, playing for Bilbao last season, he did get 5 goals and an outrageous 11 assists in the league. Puts him at the top for his position in La Liga against other players over that season. The 5 goals, again, stands him in good stead. Top 70th percentile for that. 6 expected goals as well as that. Outperforming his expected assists by quite some distance. I actually wanted to point out that he only completed 523 passes. Compared to a Villa player, that is hardly anything. Can still manage to create 47 chances and have 45 successful crosses, a 100 percentage for that, in terms of he was the elite crosser in the league, and that really came through and translated into his game for Spain, where he was just pinging balls left, right and centre. Morata just ultimately couldn't get on the end of them. A 29.4% cross accuracy. The fact that he's completed 45 and still has a cross accuracy of nearly 30% is impeccable. I really, really, really do like that. Pass accuracy only 80%, has something to be worked on, but then again, he's only 22. He's not going to be the absolute finished article. In terms of dribbling, I saw him at the Euros. Literally looks like he has a rocket strapped to his arse every time he runs with the ball. He is so quick. 86 successful dribbles, puts him right near the top in La Liga for that position last season. 97 percentile, 50% success rate, not too bad. 157 touches in the opposition box and won 3 penalties. Defensively, it's not good, but at the same time, it's not bad. Yes, only 12 tackles won, but 162 duels won, 18 blocks, and he won possession in the final third 23 times, completing 131 recoveries alongside that as well. So he's not afraid to muck in. Obviously, he is not a defensive player. He's an attacking phenom. He's an attacking messiah. He is an attacking god that I hope we get to see play at Villa Park. But we will now switch on over and have a look at how he might fit in, and why our pre-season game against Walsall might be a good indication of why we want to hijack this deal. Not only because he's world class, but there's another reason. Let's talk about it. So as you can see on the screen, we have a possible starting lineup for Villa next season. Again, this is just a placeholder. We don't know how we're going to be lining up, but I wanted to talk through this lineup and why Williams could be a very, very shrewd signing, especially now I have some data to go off. If you haven't seen my last video on the channel, I broke down and reacted to our match highlights against Walsall in our first pre-season friendly, and from that now, like I say, I have data that I can input into how we might line up and play next season. So on the screen, like I say, Kamara and Onana are going to be my 2 pivots. Now, Villa lined up against Walsall in a 4-4-2, and when we transitioned, so when we get the ball and we transitioned, and when we were in attacking phases of play, we very much played like a 4-2-4. So the defence would obviously all push up, leaving Onana and Kamara there. Powell would be right up there. Konsa would be right up there. I mean, they're going to be on the halfway line. We know how we like to play with our aggressive offside traps. So if we bring all of those in there, and we didn't even have Maatsen to show off how good he is, and then you'd have Kamara and Onana there, and then Diaby, Watkins, Rodgers and Bailey almost transition into a 4. Obviously in the Walsall game it was different, different staff, shall we say, doing that role. But that's pretty much how we lined up. And then there was a few times when Barkley picked up the ball, he would burst forward, and then Bagard or Onana in this situation would sit. And again, you'll see I'm doubling down on it. A video is coming soon for all the people commenting about it. McGinn, I don't know how McGinn gets into this team, specifically if we sign Williams, because that man who I've got on the left, Diaby, he's off. He's cashing in and checking out to Dubai. He is going to be living his best life. Imagine, I've done the wrong one, There we go. Live cock up for you there. Enjoy watching that. But if we change him there to Williams, that front four, that front four is outrageous. Outrageous. Morgan Rodgers played as a striker and got 2 goals against Walsall. Looked incredible in the middle of the park. That front four with Williams coming in on the left-hand side of that attack is... it's impeccable. It's impeccable. And how else could we line up, you ask? Well, Maatsen, as I've said in the past, has a tendency to seems to enjoy moving into the midfield and creating a third or a second pivot for that team. And now Onana, we know he's going to be the one pushing forward. We could even translate this into somewhat of a 3-2-1-4. And this is again in attack when we're putting pressure on teams. Defensively, we all know what our shape's going to be. It's going to be a 4-4-2. There's no surprises there. Or even if Bailey wants to come inside, again, something that he'd done, Cash can push up there, and we almost create like a bit of it's a weird formation, but it'll be like a 2-2-3-3. Because again, there was phases of play against Walsall where we did just leave Pau Torres and it was Josh Feeney on the day as the defenders. The 2 centre-backs were the only 2 back. Emery likes the fact that Concert and Pau are very, very good one-on-one defenders. He trusts them to do a job. Cash and Maatsen, both rapid, both can do a job getting back on defence. If we add Nico Williams, it's not Salt Bay, it's Unai Emery Bay. So what are my overall thoughts, feelings, opinions on this deal? I think it's probably going to be unlikely. Look, he clearly wants to move to Barcelona. The likes of that team coming in for you compared to maybe an Aston Villa when you've been playing in Spain and you are Spanish is appealing. Now obviously Barcelona have their own financial struggles to deal with. I don't think we fully expected this Diaby deal to come about, but now that we've got solid options on the right hand side and the likes of Bailey, the likes of Jaden Philogene coming in who can also fill in that role, of course can also play on the left as well. Could that hinder this deal? It just makes me think that perhaps this isn't the most likely. It hasn't been widely reported that we want to hijack this deal. It's just been there or thereabouts that we've been interested in hijacking it, shall we say, as opposed to we're definitely going to try it. But obviously there is some traction. There is some traction growing to it. We've been interested in Nico Williams before. Unai Emery really does rate him highly. And like we've gone over in this video, adding him to this team would be a different level of eliteness that I just don't think we've seen at Villa Park with that front four. It would be incredible. And the amount of successful crosses he has, if we can just get Morgan Rodgers to be a bit more switched on in terms of heading the ball when he's playing up front. The geezer's like 6'8". He's humongous. And Ollie Watkins, by the way, has a bit of a bullet header on him as well, as he showed off last season. It could be a really, really good deal. Look, this is more of a dream transfer than anything. This reminds me of when I was speculating about Jeremy Frimpong. It's a dream. It's one that everyone wants. We all deserve, but maybe we won't get. What do you guys think down below? Would Nico Williams fit into your Aston Villa dream lineup for next season? If we do hijack this deal, I'll get him on the back of my shirt. It's signed, sealed, delivered. I'll shake your hand. See you later.